Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's 1 minute to 2 on Friday afternoon, the 10th of April, 2020. Welcome. Thanks for watching today. My name is Adam, and I'm a tour guide here in London. And what you would usually find me doing on a Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, it's just turned 2 o'clock now. What you would usually find me doing on a Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock is leading guided tours, leading one specific guided tour, the Rock and Roll London Walk with the famous London Walks Company. Can you see the leaflet there? The famous London Walks Company. So I'd usually be doing that at 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, but I can't today. Don't go to Tottenham Court Road. Stay here. Stay at home. I'm staying at home too. Hashtag tour guiding from home. The way I like to put it, I'm coming round your house to lead a guided tour. I'm trying something new today on my hashtag tour guiding from home strand. Trying something new in so much as I'm going to do a little guided tour in London and in Chicago as well. Wish me luck. And I'm hoping to show you a few slides as well. So let's explain what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to take about 15 minutes to do this. So let's have a look at what we're going to do today. We're going to begin by showing you what we're up to here with a couple of slides. There we go. Yeah, welcome. It reads here, welcome. Socially distanced guided tours. Tour guiding from home with London Music Tours. My name's Adam. This is a new strand in my hashtag tour guiding from home. I'm going to be doing short guided tours when I would usually be out and about leading actual walking tours. This first one today, number one, the Rolling Stones in London and Chicago, 1964. So that's what we're up to today. A little bit about me. My name's Adam Scott Goulding. I'm a qualified tour guide. I've been leading guided tours in London for 15 years, principally with the famous London Walks Company, that's walks.com. I also lead the Hard Rock London tour with Evan Evans Tour Company. That was due to launch this year. We're going to launch it later on in 2020. We're looking forward to that. And I also lead tours with Music Heritage London on the 60s bus. Those are all my music tours. When I'm not doing that, I teach tour guiding at the University of Westminster. So it keeps me busy. But things are different at the moment. We're staying at home. Here's a little trailer. This is what we usually get up to on a Friday afternoon. This is a trailer for the Rock and Roll London Walk. So for the next 70 seconds, have a look at this video.
Once upon a time, all roads led to Rome. These days, all roads lead to London. In terms of rock and roll, this is an inarguable fact. It may well be made in Hollywood. Rock and roll reputations are made here, in the Big Smoke.
So that's what I'd usually be getting up to on a Friday afternoon, leading that tour from Tottenham Court Road station. We're all at home at the moment, so we're finding different ways of doing things. Here we go. Today we're looking for the Rolling Stones. We're looking specifically for the Rolling Stones in the year 1964. There they are on screen there, the Rolling Stones, their very first album. Here's my copy right here. Made in London, like so many of the best things. Made in London at Regent Sound Studios on Denmark Street. In fact, around about 2:15 on a Friday afternoon, that's where you would usually find me, talking about this album. Here we go. there's our little map on screen there. Our little map to Regent Sound Studios. Tottenham Court Road Station is up here in the top corner of your little circle. Down the Charing Cross Road, hang a left, you're on Denmark Street, which was named after George of Denmark, the consort of Queen Anne. And roughly here, where the pointer is showing, that's where Regent Sound Studios can be found, or where it could be found. It's a guitar shop today, as you can see from the picture here. Perfectly good guitar shop. Hello to the guys at Regent Sound Studios if you're watching. Yeah, great guitar shop, formerly a recording studio where the Rolling Stones made their first album back in January 1964. And that album was simply called Rolling Stones in this country. When it was released in the US, it was called England's Newest Hit Makers, which makes it sound very jolly. It's not very jolly at all. It's a blues record, and it was made in Denmark Street, London's answer to Tin Pan Alley. Now, maybe on a future episode, what we might do, we might get a bit more into the detailed history of Denmark Street, Tin Pan Alley. But the Stones made their first album there on the, with the advice of Phil Spector. Now, my advice to you is don't take advice from Phil Spector, not these days anyway, but back then, the great Wall of Sound record producer advised them on how to make a record. He's currently not making records, Phil Spector. He's currently making mailbags in a big house in California. But he helped the Stones make their first album here in 1964. Very busy year for the Stones. They made their first trip to the United States that year as well, in May. So let's follow them. Let's track them down. There we go. There I am there, if you can see me on the screen. With my 5 pals from up north, my 4 pals from up north. There's 5 of us in total there. Yeah, the other lot, the Beatles, we're waving goodbye from Heathrow Airport. So let's see where we're off to. It looks like we're off to, oh, there's the Blues. London. We're off to Chicago, it would seem. We're flying all the way to Chicago to visit 2120 South Michigan Avenue. As I said, I've never led a tour in Chicago before. I'm a Westminster guide, so I wish me luck here. It's one of the most famous addresses in rock and roll, 2120 South Michigan Avenue. Let's have a look at the map. This is how to find it. From downtown Chicago, it's about 2.5 miles. There's the downtown Chicago area there, around the Navy Pier. Head south, due south, and in about 2.5 miles time, nice straight line, you'll come to 2120 South Michigan Avenue. Very important address in the story of rock and roll. On the way, this is the sort of thing you'll see on the way. The sights of downtown Chicago. Chicago is a festival of architecture. It's an astonishing city. And you'll also see on the way, if you've got your left shoulder to the water, put your left shoulder to Lake Michigan and head directly south, you will pass sooner or later, halfway down South Michigan Avenue, this sign. Now, if you ever plan to motor west, well, this is the highway that's the best. It's the beginning of Route 66. The famous Route 66 begins in downtown Chicago. There's the sign there. Now, Chicago is laid out on a grid system, very angular, very geometric. I was lucky enough to be there at sunset. And if you look down this man-made chasm named Route 66 in downtown Chicago, you'll also see a very, very dramatic sunset. It's a terrific location for music fans. Route 66, it begins in downtown Chicago. It's the first track on the album that we've just discussed, Rolling Stones #1, recorded at Denmark Street in London. In terms of Chicago, however, don't take my word for nothing. go and see Hilary. This is Hilary's logo here. Inside Chicago Walking Tours. Hilary is a passionate Chicagoan, a genius tour guide, a woman-owned business, a one-woman band, inside ChicagoWalkingTours.com. I went to visit Chicago last year and Hilary took me all over. We went to look at Mahalia Jackson's church. We went to look at Muddy Waters' old house. And she's just an encyclopedia of the entire history of Chicago. So we're looking for music here. When it's safe to travel again, go and visit Hilary's inside ChicagoWalkingTours.com. She'll fill in the blanks that we're leaving today because we're looking for music. 2120 South Michigan Avenue, which was the home of Chess Records. Great blues record label. 70 years old this year. Founded in 1950 by the Chess brothers. We're looking for their home, their headquarters. As right down here, you see the map? Yeah. At the bottom of South Michigan Avenue, you will find Chess Records. There it is there. Does it ring a bell? Does it remind you of the earlier picture that we looked at of Regent Sound Studios on our very own Denmark Street? Very modest little building. Yet within these modest buildings begins the career of the greatest rock and roll band of them all. So this is Chess Studios. This is Chess Studios. Let's look a little bit up closer here. There's a Chicago plaque, a Chicago landmark, and it lists all the great names, all the luminaries of the blues. It's Sonny Boy Williamson, it's Howlin' Wolf, it's Willie Dixon, it's Chuck Berry, all recording here. Leonard and Phil Chess founded the label, and this is their plaque on their old headquarters. Now, when we go inside, the first thing that you'll see is reception. Now, behind that little window, back in the day, I believe is the correct period, behind that little window, back in the day, you would have seen the receptionist who was one Minnie Riperton. Now, you've heard of Minnie Riperton, of course. She used to be the receptionist at Chess Records. She's famous for her hit Lovin' You. It's soul music through the prism of a coloratura soprano. It's a very memorable record. Minnie Riperton, she used to be the receptionist at Chess Records. That was her desk there behind that little window. And there's the boss's desk. That's Leonard Chess's desk, the head of the label. That's his office. Now you can see in the picture there, I'm standing just to the side of Leonard's desk. I didn't believe that my behind was illustrious enough to grace the leatherette of Leonard Chess's chair. So it's Chess Records. It's these days the Willie Dixon Blues Heaven Foundation, and it's a terrific museum. Here's the back door, the fire exit these days, and it's through these doors in 1964, in May 1964, June 1964, I beg your pardon. They'd been to the West Coast and they were heading back east, and the Rolling Stones came through these doors to record at Chess Studios. It's a real pilgrimage for the Stones. Legend has it that they came through these very doors and there was no one to meet them. And so they called out, and there was a fella up a ladder in overalls, painting the ceiling, whitewashing the ceiling. And Keith Richards is said to have called out, "Excuse me, mate, who's in charge around here?" And the fella up the ladder looked round, and Keith recognized him straight away. It was none other than Muddy Waters. And he helped them carry their gear in. This is a long time ago, back when the Rolling Stones were carrying their own equipment up these very stairs to the studio on the first floor, on the upper level, up the stairs into the inner sanctum. There it is. Now it's tiny. From the outside, the building is slightly larger than Regent Sound here in London. But when you get inside, the studio's proportions, well, really, really very basic. Here's another picture. This was snapped by Hilary of Inside Chicago Walking Tours when she took us round. What she's done is she's lifted this photograph up into the shot. And what you can see here is well, there's the door there. Do you see it? And there's the actual door over there. And there's the reflection of the control room there. and there's the control room up there. So in the picture there, I'm sitting quite happily, roughly where Keith Richards would have been standing. There's Keith there. I'm sitting roughly between Keith and Charlie, the drummer, Charlie Watts. So the Stones recorded the parts of their second album there. Their second album, it was called Rolling Stones #2 in this country. The sleeve, also, just like the first album, the sleeve was shot by David Bailey, the great East End photographer. They also recorded, It's All Over Now Here as well, which was their first #1 single in the UK in 1964, all recorded in this little room here at 2120 South Michigan Avenue in Chicago. Now, we are unable to get outside at the moment. When we are, come and see me. I'd love to show you around in London. But over in Chicago there, you can visit Chess Studios. There's the contact details. At the moment, they're closed. We're all closed at the moment, but when they're open again, support your local museum. There's their email address there, info@Blues Heaven. It's not just a museum. They have terrific exhibitions there and a terrific collection of memorabilia, but they do live events as well. There are their social details there. Keep in touch with them. They do live events in the Willie Dixon Blues Garden. So in the sunny weather, go and listen to some blues at what used to be Chess Studios in Chicago. A little guided tour there. Do go and see them. Do also go and visit Hilary at InsideChicagoWalkingTours.com. She'll show you around in Chicago. A force of nature she is, and you'll get a terrific tour. Go and visit Hilary at Inside Chicago Walking Tours. And when this lousy war is over, come and see me. I'm looking forward to taking you around. It's a beautiful day out there, and I hope you're all keeping safe and keeping well. And I hope you're all doing your 1 walk a day, and no more, mind. On your 1 walk a day, if you'd like a few things to look for, the picture on screen just now, the yellow book and the yellow album there, on air in the 1960s. It's the Rolling Stones recording in studios and theatres and at the BBC. Live sessions in the 1960s. If you go to the website, www.londonmusictours.co.uk, the second story down from the top, click on that, those yellow pictures, and you'll find there a self-guided tour, a free self-guided tour of Rolling Stones locations in London. So keep an eye out for those on your daily exercise walks while we're on lockdown. Have that map for free. Also on the London Music Tours website, the top story there is what I'm doing during lockdown. All tours are off for the time being, but you can book a place for a future tour via my online shop, Pay a Tour, my online store. No booking fees. You can book right now for a future tour, and any future tour you can pay 2019 prices. So last year's prices still apply. Come and see me when all this is over. You can also buy gift vouchers there for my tour. So have a look at that at londonmusictours.co.uk, along with your free guided tour of the Stones in 60s London. Oh my, there's a picture of me outside leading a guided tour. We're not allowed to do that at the moment. And so it's hashtag tour guiding from home. I'm coming round your house to do guided tours. You can find me on all social media channels under that hashtag, tour guiding from home. The very best way to keep in touch with me is via Facebook, London Music Tour at Facebook. All the details of my London Walks tours, all the details of my Evan Evans tours, all the details of anything I'm doing with Music Heritage London and the 60s Bus, that all goes on there. You can also listen to me on BBC Radio. BBC Radio London. I put a link up there to last week's Sunday show with Duncan Box when I was doing a virtual, socially distanced, on the radio tour of the Kinks locations in London. So that's a little bit of what I'm getting up to at the moment. That is a new strand in my socially distanced tour guiding from home campaign during lockdown here. tomorrow night, today is Friday the 10th of April. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m, come and join me on Facebook Live, where I'm presenting the 4th installment of Big Smoke Radio Night. Big Smoke Radio Night. What do we do? Well, we've got quite a nice little community going there. I talk about music, I review, I do a bit of crit, I do fun facts, history, that kind of thing. I read out your requests and your comments and your suggestions, which is terrific. And tomorrow night, there's also going to be some live music. I'm going to throw live music into the mix as well. We'll take about 45 minutes doing the whole thing. Come and see me tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on Facebook Live. But for the time being, I think we are done on this first Friday at 2 o'clock short guided tour to replace my postponed Rock and Roll London tour with London Walks, the famous walks.com company. So in 2 Fridays' time, I'm going to do something like this again when I'd be due to take out the tour in its regular slot. And in May, if we're still on lockdown in May, on Wednesday nights when I'd be doing the Rock and Roll London pub walk, I'll do something similar. So keep in touch, give me your suggestions, tell me where you want to go. We can go all over the world now, so just give me a shout and I'll come round your house and guide a tour just for you. My name is Adam. Thanks for listening today. Be well.